Hi, welcome back to the shop. What's wrong with your Bobcat? This one is hard as hell to start in the cold. So what we're going to do is install a block heater. I'm going to go through how we do that. We're running out of daylight and it's cold as hell out here, so we're going to try to go through this real quick. What we've got is the block heater itself right here, and this is going to go directly into the cylinder head. And we got to knock out a freeze plug to get that to go in. And then the only other thing we have here is the cord that plugs into the block heater. And that's what heats the coolant inside the head. So let's get right to it. So first thing we need to do is drain the coolant. So what I like to do is take a little 1/4-inch hose. These Kubota V2203, that's the engine we're working on today. And they usually, on the Bobcats, have a coolant drain valve right here. I like to slide a little piece of 1/4-inch hose on there, put it into my little drain bucket, and open the valve. Okay, so that's draining really good right now, and I've already pulled the radiator cap so that it does drain quicker. All right, so next we need to move our air filter housing assembly. So our air filter housing assembly is located right here. There's 3 bolts that hold it on. There's 2 up here, and there's 1 down underneath. We need to move all 3 of those bolts. We've got a worm gear clamp here for the intake tube. I've already loosened that. Let's not lose our clamp. So that's for the intake tube and the actual inlet to the air filter housing. There's another worm gear clamp on top of it up here, so I've got that one loose as well. And then this one has an air filter sensor on it, so we need to unplug that way back here in the back. And the whole air filter housing comes out easy as that. Now we've got access to our freeze plug. Okay, so right here is the freeze plug that we need to take out, and that's where we're going to install our block heater. So I'm going to give this coolant another minute to drain, and we're going to punch this out. What I'm going to do is just take a hammer and screwdriver and hit right there on the corner and try to just spin it around. Don't worry about it, it's not going to fall like down inside the engine or anything. Just take your hammer and just beat the hell out of it and just get it to spin out. Then we'll take a pair of pliers and yank it right out. Alright, my coolant's done draining, so I've actually got a pry bar. I'm just going to put it right in there. Let's see if we can get this. Sometimes they knock right out, sometimes you really got to hit them. So right in the corner of the freeze plug. See how it just kind of spun around right there? Hopefully we can get our pliers. And just rip that thing out of there. So there's our freeze plug. Like I said, don't worry about it falling. It can't fall down inside the engine or the head. Just knock it in, twist it out with your pliers. Okay, so now you should be able to see what this hole looks like here. We got to make sure it's real clean. So I like to use a clean rag. And then we're going to take some emery cloth and we're going to just clean this hole out, just polish it up a little bit, because our block heater is sealing with an O-ring. So we want to make sure there's no corrosion or any leftover glue from that freeze plug left in this hole. Looks nice and polished up. A little brake cleaner. And take our clean rag and kind of dry that hole out. So now we're ready to install our block heater itself. You can see it does have an O-ring on the outside, but I like to use a little bit of silicone, just wrap around that O-ring there before we put it in. And then you see this little wing right here. As we tighten down the screw on the front right here, that wing is going to spread open and kind of pull it tight into the head. So put a little silicone around it. I'm not going to put much. I mean, the O-ring should seal the block heater, but sometimes you'll find a little pitting or a little corrosion inside the hole there, and if we don't use the silicone, sometimes it'll leak. And you kind of want to position this to where it fits in the head nicely. Kind of wiggle it in until it's nice and flat, and then you'll be able to feel if that heating element's touching any part of the head. And we don't want it touching the head, we want it completely bathed in coolant. So just make sure you position this, you know, right where it's not touching anything inside the head. And we'll take our ratchet, tighten down that little wing in there. I know my big hands are in your way, but alright, so now the block heater itself is installed. Take our cord and we just kind of want to route it to where it fits in there nicely. And plug it in. Okay, so I'm just going to finish topping off the coolant here, and then we're going to start the machine, bring it up to operating temperature, and check for leaks. So that's it. I know it can be intimidating when you have to knock out freeze plugs and it feels like engine work or whatever, but it's a very easy job, very easy do-it-yourself job. I got the block heater kit from Bobcat. I don't know, $65, $70 maybe, somewhere in that range. So yeah, it's really, you know, I've done a lot of them, so it's only about a 30-minute job, but allow yourself probably an hour and a half, 2 hours if you've never done one before. So, all right, I'm gonna finish topping off this coolant and start it up, check for leaks. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.